Welcome to the Unnamed Podcast. My name is Nick Holmes. I'm sitting here today with
Regan. What's going on, everybody? What is the name of our podcast? We don't even know yet.
I don't think we have a very defined name yet. We started this podcast, and we kind of took a break, and now we're finally in our new podcast area.
Cool.
New little space
It's
here.
just the beginning, though, of the podcast area. It's just the beginning because right now, we have the black surrounding, the really beautiful carpet chairs, which they're really nice and supple.
Amazon special.
They're fantastic, and I think you're going to highlight that word supple. So I just think Josh is going to highlight that word. But anyway, it's really cool in here, and it's just the beginning of this podcast, and we're really excited because at the end of the day, what we're going to be doing, like you said before, at our ribbon cutting, which we'll recap that here in a second, is that we're going to be bringing in business owners from all over Brooksville and, quite frankly, all over the Tampa Bay to come in here and do interviews. Right?
Yeah, I really want to be able to use this podcast to kind of highlight the local businesses and the people that we work with a lot. Try to just kind of show off their business and help everybody out. I mean, this is all about collaborative efforts with the community.
For sure. And I do listen. The more I drive up here, I was very intrigued. I'm starting to look. Like before, I just wanted to get to the destination. I just wanted to get to the office. You don't really look. Now you've been here a long time, so I'm really starting to look around the area. And I'm starting to see just how interesting some of these buildings are. And I don't know the name of the building, but it's northbound when you're coming up past Florida Cracker on the right-hand side. It looks like 1950s. It's like next to a church. Do you know what that is? Because I like that building a lot. I have my eye on that building now. That's something that we should look for the future.
Talking before the bridge?
Yes, right before the bridge.
Yeah.
It's really unique looking.
The white one on the left-hand side?
No. It's got I shame on me for not knowing the roof, but it's still 1950s. Mid-century modern.
Oh, yeah.
It's a really
right
cool
next to that church.
Yes.
Yep. I'm not sure what that was actually used for or anything like that.
It almost looks like a 1950s, 60s roller rink. Yeah. It's really cool building. But anyway.
It's a lot of cool stuff in downtown Brooksville. I mean, this whole area, when you really start looking at it, got built up in kind of phases, and you can kind of tell looking through the area what time period stuff came from and what was demolished and added on to. So it's a really cool town with a lot of history. Yeah,
no, I love it. I do. I love it. I love what we're going to do, and I can't believe. I mean, why? You know what? Shame on me for saying that, but I can't believe the support we got because that was really cool to see all those people at the ribbon cutting, and then what you said to me privately was pretty impactful.
Yeah.
I realized how many people that we are really surrounded by and people that appreciate us.
Yeah, everybody's watching.
Yeah, it's true. And they're intrigued. They're very intrigued. And what I thought was really cool, too, like we even had a few people that came up to us and like, hey, like they wanted a picture because we're the Barndo guys. Oh. You know what I mean? So I thought that was really cool, too.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So talk to everyone. Tell them we got a Barndo permit just dropped.
Yep.
And let's talk about that project.
So we've got the one that everyone's probably seen already out in Wesley Chapel. Got that one started, and then kind of feels like as par for Pasco, everything kind of fell apart, and we have to go ahead and...
I'm sorry, Pasco, for that. I'm just saying.
I'm not.
It's been an issue.
Yeah, so we had some issues with what the overall height was of the actual pad that they wanted. Yeah. So... we realized going into it where the height was that the pad that was designated by the county initially probably would have been another $30,000-$40,000 of fill dirt coming in.
Ridiculous. And
it just made more sense to stop for a month, go back to the permit office and say, hey, can we reduce it by 2.5 feet?
Right.
So finally just got through all that. That's been an ordeal. I think that's been... and that was like November 15th. We actually put that paperwork in. Yeah. So who knows when this is actually going to drop? But I mean, today's January 10th?
12th.
Or 12th. Man, I lost 2 days.
Yeah.
So yeah, January 12th. So yeah, I mean, it's almost a full 2 months that we were waiting on all that.
But I mean, there was a time it was a 4-week turnaround in Pasco, right? I mean, that existed at one point. I mean, I remember it. It was at one point. It was 4 weeks continuously. I don't even know what happened. And it's and even since COVID, there's been 10 times more permitting, but I feel like it's just gotten slower and slower.
I mean, it's easy for everyone to use COVID as an excuse for a lot of that kind of stuff. But I mean, truth be told, there was a lot of historical knowledge that was lost during COVID, so a lot of the people that have been there for,
good call.
20, 30 years just said, you know what?
I'm done.
It's time to go ahead and retire. We're going to pack up and go. And you got an influx of new people that might have been shifting from different industries, which is great. You always need that new blood, but without the people there to train them and actually teach them, this is why things are the way they are.
Yeah.
Or
even the people that were there weren't trained properly yet. And the older generation left too early.
Yeah. So Hernando County's got a really cool thing coming up, and they just implemented an AI permit checking system.
Wow.
So first time they've really gotten into that type of stuff, but it's going to be primarily for the zoning checks. So all the site plans are now going to be checked by AI, an actual AI scanner, to make sure that they meet within the setbacks, and they're basically just kind of cutting the manual review out altogether.
Could you imagine that in the future? Let's call it 10, 15 years in the future. Elon Musk sends his robots out to be the inspectors.
Yeah.
Right? Well, no more. I mean, actually, in theory, didn't we have these? We were doing virtual this anyway.
Virtual inspections.
Right.
They had that in Hernando, too. We actually just came across, what was that last main storm that came through?
Adelia?
Yeah,
like that?
So our last hurricane that came through, we actually went out to a house right off Pine Island, so kind of the beach area out here, and the garage doors that were installed weren't impact rated.
Really?
And completely just tore off the house.
Coupled right in.
Yeah, flooded out the entire bottom of this garage floor, and turns out that was one of the houses that they did a virtual inspection on.
Interesting.
The
bars are on the support bars are on the back. So how did they not? They must have not seen that, or they faked it. Who knows? You could take a different picture or something.
Yeah,
you can take a picture of any garage door and say, "Oh yeah, that's the garage door I installed,"
right.
And it's not.
Well, it's hard too because with everything being based off product approval numbers, unless you have a product approval number stamped on something,
good point.
Not gonna be able to tell.
Wow, that would be mandated.
There you go.
There it is, buddy.
We'll start laser etching.
You just did it. Way to go. You just made it mandated for the state of Florida.
There you go.
But so the one we have in Wesley Chapel, steel's dropped.
Yep.
Land's cleared.
Yep.
And
our first 18 inches of fill are laid and compacted.
Right.
We should have more fill going out and have them. Hopefully by Monday we're ready to go ahead and start railing it. And awesome. For everyone else, railing it's when we set up the actual outside form boards so the plumbers can come in and start doing their stuff, and the concrete company can come dig the footers and all that. So
this is the behind the scenes stuff is boring. It really is. But when it comes down to it and you start seeing this thing get erected, it's pretty cool looking.
Yeah.
So we're going to take you on that full journey. Ape Shot Productions is going to be with us the entire time, and you're every single step of the way. You're just going to see this thing go up. And what I'm really looking forward to is once it's erected, slabs down in its erection, we're coming in there and we're just going to do like a tour of that part of it.
Right.
Because I just want everyone wants to just see the inside of a shell.
That's what everyone needs, right?
Right.
Yeah. That's really the only part that separates it from a conventional home.
Yeah. Do you know how many people during our ribbon cutting are like, we thought we were coming to our barn dough? I'm like, well, I guess you didn't read the invitation because you were coming to our office. But they're like, oh, we just want to see the barn dough up. So, we'll have to get permission from the homeowner. But if we can do that when they come out, I think that'd be great.
So we keep on talking about the ribbon cutting, and to take a step back, what we really want to do with these podcasts, I think, is kind of just do a week in review, kind of a recap of what's going on in the industry, what's going on with our company. A lot of what people want to see are going to be those builds, but there's so much more to a construction company than just the actual build itself. Yeah. So I think a lot of that's interesting to share, kind of show how much work really goes into putting someone's dream home together.
Well, they just see the fun. Like, that's our job, right? It's to make it fun. We want to make it seem like it's seamless, but the truth is it's not. Construction is nothing but not seamless. It's construction, and I think we have to be very transparent from the very beginning, and that's what we said we were both going to do. That's why we teamed up together, is because this is an industry that there's very little transparency in, and everyone tries to paint a pretty picture that we're going to build this great house for you and there's not going to be any issues, but there is.
It's construction. There will always be some type of issue that pops up, right? We can't fight every type of issue ahead of time and go ahead and make sure that it's a completely seamless project, but I think what really separates a construction company from other companies is how you handle those hurdles.
Right.
So I think showing a lot of these hurdles that we get into and kind of see, okay, everything's getting taken care of expediently. It's not. A lot of times it seems like we're just waiting on a county to go ahead and get something back to us, and unfortunately, a lot of times that is. But we're calling every day.
Yeah, it's true. And it is transparency from the beginning, and obviously, even the clients that we're talking to right now, it's a waiting game, and it is the longest and most dreary waiting game, waiting for permitting, waiting for answers from the county, waiting for our superintendent to make sure we're getting all the materials in. It's just a waiting game. But at the end of the day, all these customers want to know is where they are in the waiting game.
Well, and that's the hardest part for us, right? Is because you go ahead and you talk to somebody and, oh, yeah, it's on so-and-so's desk. We should go ahead and have a review by the end of the week.
Yeah.
Well, that was 3 weeks ago, and now, it's done with their desk, but it had to hit 3 other desks before it actually got to us, right? So
this is how transparent we are at the contractor. Actually, even today, after this meeting, we're having a company meeting, and we're going to introduce new standard operating procedures for follow-up. I mean, we're just being real with you, because we've already recognized issues where we think we could even be more communicative to our clientele and even to each other. And at the end of the day, sometimes text messages get lost on this thing because come on. How many things are you involved with? How many things am I involved with? Right. Come on. I mean, our phones are vibrating right now, sitting on our laps. At the end of the day, we will get back to you. It's just a matter of time.
I have 372 unread text messages, and that is from the last 2 days.
Yeah, that's a lot. Well, I just missed 2 phone calls from my daughter, so I can't imagine what that's about, but we won't go into that. But it's communication is key. We understand that. We're creating new SOPs to keep our clientele involved and let us know, or let them know. And sometimes, we're at a point like, well, we're going to call them and give them no information, and then it kind of elevates their aggravation level, right, a little bit, because well, why don't you have anything to tell me back? Well, because our hands are tied, because it's a county thing.
Yeah, it's
What was that? You better edit that.
We'll have to go ahead and. That was all stomach right there. Jeez.
Oh my God. I don't want that mic ever. Mark, give me a red pen. Oh, that was funny. Yeah. Okay. Where were
That's why we got 4 of them.
That was awesome. Go.
So I'm not sure where we left off, but
no.
Calling people with no additional information, right? So,
yes,
those are the hardest calls to make, because when you start the call, you're not going to be happy by the end of it. Right?
It's not an uplifting phone call,
right? It's I promise you, I'm not forgetting about your job. I promise you, we are actively working towards something, but. Just like you can't get any information out of us, we can't get any information out of the county.
And the thing, we have, I think once again, that's why the whole expectation level, but we remember the roller coaster we always talk about, the emotional roller coaster of construction. And that's what it is. Everyone gets so excited in the very beginning. Yeah. Like, okay, we're making a phone call. Like, think about it. Husband, wife, whatever, significant others. They're so excited. Okay, we're going to call the barn door guys. We're going to call the contractor. I keep saying the barn door guys. It's just going to be a thing, so I got to be careful here. I'm calling the contractor. We're going to meet with them. I get to meet with Regan. I get to meet with Nick. I'm super excited. And they come out. And then we paint this beautiful picture. And then it goes to drafting, right? So then you're sitting down with drafting. You're sitting home to home drafting services. You're going through everything. Oh, my gosh, the excitement level goes up even more. You're like, oh, my gosh, how can I even get more excited than this? And then you draw it out. And this is my bedroom. And this is how the roof is going to pitch. And this is going to be my garage. And this is where I get to keep my car. All this stuff.
Yep.
And then weeks of
see you in 2 months.
Right, that's the process. It's because now we're waiting 2 months for drawings, engineering, plans, get all that, and then stamped, right? And now what? Now we get approved from them, we submit, and now another what? 2 months. Think about it.
The point that I always try to go ahead and hit home on is like, trust me, I want to get your project done because I want to go ahead and get paid. Trust me, we are actively trying to work to get your stuff done because that's how our company runs.
Yep.
Yep. But it's just unfortunate sometimes, and we can't put all the blame on the counties. I think the counties, especially Hernando County, is trying extremely hard to go ahead and get the right people in place and the right processes in place, and trying to get everything set better for builders.
We are also at the largest scale building probably in the state of Florida in our lifetime.
Yeah.
Would you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
you have all this influx of people from out of state until housing inventory kind of levels out, supply and demand. That's
very true.
The biggest part, right?
Very true. And we're getting the phone calls because we've become very affordable. And we've become the new niche of building, especially up here in Brooksville. It just fits in Brooksville.
Yep.
It really does.
It sure does.
So
we got a lot of cool projects going on right now. One permit we're expecting to have back hopefully this afternoon.
Yeah.
Is going to be one that I think we probably already posted a little bit about the site out there, but it's going to be up in Royal Highlands. We got a conventional home going up there right now.
Beautiful lot, conventional home, block home, monolithic slab. And we're excited to build that too. So we just don't build barndos. We build regular homes as well. Not as popular as the phone calls that we get, but we can do that, and we can customize your home as well. And from soup to nuts all the way through. Come in, sit down. You guys give us a basic idea, a basic plan, and then we will customize it from there. And I'm excited for that too. Those are really fun to work with. But why don't you tell everyone difference in pricing in that?
Between the
your
barndos
block and a barndo.
Yeah. So, what we've really kind of honed in on is that there's an inflection point on square footage. Okay, at a certain square footage, you're going to start seeing barndos be more affordable than conventional homes. That square footage is probably higher than a lot of the calls that we get, though.
Right.
So, whenever I meet with somebody, okay, we're starting off an initial conversation about, okay, you found us online, perfect, love to go ahead and talk to you about your house.
Right.
Why did you choose barndos? Like, what's pulling you towards the barndo stuff? Is it the open floor plans that you like? Is it the exterior appearance that you like? Is it the cost? What issue or what pain point brought you to barndominiums? Right. If it's the price, we go ahead and we put a hard stop to that meeting right there and say, hey, just so you understand, if you're building less than 2,500 square foot,
it's more money.
You should be building a conventional home.
Right.
If price is your determining factor and you're under 2,500 square foot, I don't even want to go ahead and bring you down the barndo route because you're going to be disappointed.
Yep.
We can do a lot of the same. We can do a lot of the same appearance-wise stuff for barndos in a small house. Right. Because you don't have all the limitations of trusses at that point. Right. If we can get a truss to span 35 feet with no interior bearing point, it's essentially the same house. We can do a lot of the interior stuff exactly the same as a barndo in conventional construction and save you a little bit of money on the actual metal. We realize that between like 2,500 square foot and 3,000 square foot, that's where prices get pretty comparable. So they're pretty similar to, okay, if I build conventional or I build a barndo, they're going to be almost the same cost. Right. Over that 3,000 square foot range is where we start incrementally seeing savings on the barndo side. So if you're building a 6,000 square foot house, you should be building a barndo. That's where your main savings is going to start coming in at.
The thing to me, too, the people that are coming in are the calls that we're getting for the sales calls. Once again, I hate to say it, but it's what's on TV. And it's the hype and it's the stuff that's put in their face. So now when you're at the grocery checkout at Publix, you're looking at Better Homes or whatever's on. You're going to see what? Barndos in Idaho, barndos this and barndos that. So people are very inquisitive of what's going on there. And then it's the demographic and it's the age demographic. I think a lot of Gen Xers think it's just really cool. Really cool.
It is.
Yeah. And then, yeah.
And it's quick.
And it's quick, a lot quicker. And then the millennials, and remember I got in trouble for saying those words. Remember that? Isn't that crazy? I got in trouble for saying words. I never made the word up millennials or Gen X, but hey, we won't get into that right now.
You had a whole thing where you called somebody fat online the other day.
Nope. We didn't say that word. Anyway, the millennials really just want the open space. And then, like I talked about briefly before, one of the videos I made, which was last week, and I was at the office, I just threw it up, I just threw my phone on, I made a video, and it was simply saying that a lot of families are joining up together again, grandparents, and then you could split that house so easily. It's an easy design to split the house versus a split plan design on a monolithic slab. It's just way more expensive and splitting that up.
Even when you go ahead and you think about, okay, so barndominiums are going to be cheaper when we stay kind of rectangular, right?
Yeah.
Some type of, four-sided structure.
Right.
We can put a big garage space that separates essentially two houses in the same building. That's right.
Almost like a duplex.
Yeah, it's.
I never even it's so fun. Like, as soon as you said that, every time I thought about designing would be like almost offset garage, but you could put it dead center to where it's like their own space, and then they have the garage space completely separate for noise reasons.
You know what? We got exactly the opposite happening on our project that's going to be built over on Hilltop, where we have a dwelling in the center and two garages on the outside. We got the toy garage and the.
He's got toys.
Yeah,
I can't wait for that one.
Yeah, that one's going to be pretty cool. So. That one's in the middle of our engineering stage right now for the metal building portion. So that's, again, you see a couple of these dead points throughout the road where there's really not a whole lot of updates because we're waiting on other people.
Yeah. It's a waiting game. But at the end of the day, it's coming soon. So stay tuned for that because, like I said, there's lulls. There's lulls in construction. Right. And then during lulls, you just have to be more communicative, and that's about it. So what else we got going on?
Well, we had our ribbon cutting for the Brooksville office on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So great turnout on that. I was super happy about that.
We had people drive over 45 minutes to come see us. We had people from Inverness come visit us here. That was really cool.
No, it's really cool to see the support that you get from a lot of the people that have been with it from the very beginning all the way out, and I can't say enough about all the people that showed up for that. It really did mean a lot to me to go ahead and see that many people kind of gather together and try to squeeze that many people into our tiny little office up here. So thanks to our congressman next door to lending his lobby.
That was neat.
Help the overflow.
Yeah.
But so we had that on Wednesday. We've had quite a few appointments, but you guys did a thing with Ape Shot yesterday.
Yeah,
right?
that was really cool. I got to give a shout out to Ape Shot. That was really, really awesome. We went actually down to Riverview off of Falkenberg Road, and there's a place there called LED Live Studio. And it's basically a very large, which I really want to talk to you about, very large LED screen. And it was a really cool setup. Josh, Jacob in there, and they had the camera set up. They had the teleprompter set up, and we were working with the Titan Group, which is the Titan Training Up program, which is a training program which is also Andy Elliott is included. For those of you that don't know Andy Elliott, he's one of the top sales trainers in the world. And they're doing sales training for people in the trades industry, not just the trade industry, but also the moving industry as well. And we're doing sales training videos. And we filmed over 100 videos yesterday alone.
That's crazy.
All day long, just putting out content, mindset content, sales content, and authentic. Not both. You know what I'm talking about.
How do you guys keep the energy for 100 videos?
That's
gotta
Josh,
be a big deal, right?
Yeah, Josh might show you some behind it. He might make fun of me. He's got some video. Gosh bless him. Literally doing push-ups in between sets, like just to keep your blood flowing, and like we're hitting our legs. We're like, come on, and we're staying together because it's a lot. You have to be high energy. But I also said, like on the video, like you're seeing here, like no different. I'm directly looking at the camera and having a discussion with the camera, all the people out there, and I'm saying, listen, at the end of the day, you do have to be authentic. But if you don't have some type of hype energy, are you really going to sit here and watch us? Think about it. You know what I mean? And I actually did a thing where I'm like, if I'm sitting there with my arms crossed and I have my head down and I'm speaking in a monotone way, are you going to pay attention to me? No. So you have to keep keep that energy up. But listen, there's hype behind everything. There's hype behind the contractor. This is real conversation. Like, this is who we are, right? There's sometimes where there's super hyper Regan, and then Nick's like, could you put that guy away for a little bit? Because then we have to have real discussion, especially in our meetings. But at the end of the day, hype builds attention, but you have to be able to follow through. So you can talk and say we do this and we do that, but if you don't follow through, that's a problem. And that's why I said, even in our ribbon cutting, and I was busting his chops saying I'm not here to toot his horn because he's my partner. But this is one of the hardest working dudes on the planet. I mean, he sacrifices time away from his family, away from his kids, away from his house. He's sleeping at the office. That's a lot of work. And he's trying to be modest, not
try
smile
not
over
to
there.
sleep anymore.
Yeah, but I mean, true though. Like it's a lot of work, and You have to put all this behind the scenes work to make this work. And then it looks like fun. And then we make it look easy when the stuff's going up. But it's a lot of work to get here, man. Yeah. It's exhausting.
That's why I like being able to sit down in this type of setting and actually go ahead and kind of just get through, the actual process and kind of explain that to everybody. And, I think at some point in time, we're not going to want to just be sitting here talking about, the company that we're growing. I think people are going to lose interest in that real fast.
Oh, yeah.
I'd really like to go ahead and see this kind of transition into bringing in people from the community. Of, starting with those first people that were at a ribbon cutting. Every one of those businesses, everyone's got a story. Yep. It's kind of cool to go ahead and see. There's a guy there that I forgot his name. He's does all the motorcycle training.
Chris Glandon.
Yeah. So,
he came. That's the guy. That's the guy who came from Inverness.
Yeah. So I had a great conversation with him while we were there, and
I'm glad he came.
The things that
he talked to a couple people.
He's a pretty cool guy. But learning about how those type of businesses grow and like the hurdles that every businesses face that are different for industry to industry, right. But he's trying to get some covered areas to go ahead and do trainings and stuff like that.
I love it too. It's and it's not like the motorcycle training that you guys are thinking about, like put your blinker on. It's like safety, like super safety in motorcycles, and he's encouraging motorcycle safety all over the state of Florida, and it's impressive, and it's a void in the industry. Yeah. Otherwise you just have those little classes that you have to take to get your license or your endorsement,
the bare minimum,
right? Which trust me, it's not very much. I didn't feel safe after the class.
You have an endorsement?
And he said, yeah. I have a midlife crisis, and I got a motorcycle,
right. Yeah.
Which I don't really drive a lot because my wife's like, "Are you really going to go on that today? You want to leave us?" Okay, I won't drive it today. Fine. But yeah, it's,
I'm sure she sees all kinds of stuff in the hospital.
She's seen it all. Yeah. She's seen it all. This is also why I'm not allowed to get back surgery, because she sees the back end of that, and they go in thinking something's going to be great, and that person's 10 times worse. And she's like, "How am I supposed to even move you? You're 260 pounds." She's like, "That's not going to work for me."
Right.
So just deal with the pain. I'm like, okay. Anyway, we got off track on that one.
I just want to get off track even a little bit further. This is how different 260 pounds can look. Okay. This is 260 pounds here. Woohoo!
Well, yeah, I appreciate that. Anyway. We're working on that. We're working on that, Nick, right? And it all started with carpet seats.
It sure
Remember
did.
that. Josh is over there looking at me. Anyway, all right. So ribbon cutting, people coming in here. What else? What else are we talking about?
We got all kinds of cool stuff coming up. I mean, what we'll probably want to go ahead and do at some point in time is maybe highlight some of the code changes for some of these contractors.
Oh, yeah.
I know they got continuing ed classes all over the place that are going over that kind of stuff, but we did just have a new building code rollout, so didn't really affect the metal side too much, right. But it is one of those things where we got to be cautious and conscious about it, because some of the wind code stuff did change, and some of the way that some of the egress requirements are being modified.
How much better are we going to get, buddy, with code change? Like how much? Like we're already at Miami-Dade wind code all through, basically through the state of Florida.
Yeah.
So what else can we possibly do to secure the home from 170 mile an hour wind?
Well, did you see some of those photos from the tornadoes out of the Panhandle? Mm-hmm. So we had entire houses that stayed together that completely fell off their stilts.
Right.
From.
Good point.
But the entire house is intact still,
right.
Just sideways. So
yeah.
That's how strong houses are actually being constructed at that point.
Right.
And it's not for me to say whether it's good or bad, but I feel like a lot of the changes that happen in our building code are as a result of insurance lobbyists.
Yeah.
So I think that's what spurs a lot of it, because they're the ones that have to pay out for any type of disasters that do happen. We're in Florida. We're a peninsula. We're prone to high winds. But every 3 years, new wind data comes out, and that's what they're kind of basing the code changes off of.
But I mean, what more? We have Simpson ties. We have straps, tie downs. What more can we possibly do?
I don't know. I mean, other than get away from wood altogether.
That's all. Even truss everything. Yeah.
I mean,
would it make that much?
Well, so I mean, during COVID, we had massive shortages on trusses, right?
Yeah.
So that's when I really started seeing the like gauge steel,
whatever.
Yeah, like gauge steel going ahead and popping up everywhere, and it's not that it's an inferior product at all. It's just it takes a different type of installer.
Yeah, for sure.
So
you're screwing it together.
Yeah, screwing, or I mean, they have a weld option too, but it's a different type of installer. I don't know that we have the labor market here yet to go ahead and handle all of those type of changes. But
what if we were coded to go strictly steel? I mean, how much of a significance of prices now houses are going up even more? Think about it. And what? And now that you know, and not to scare anyone away from Florida, because we want everyone to come to Florida. Florida was deemed the affordable state, and now it's not a home break state; it's a tax break state.
Yeah,
right. So that's why people are still moving here, because they're getting better in taxes. Yeah. So do you see that changing? You have your finger on the pulse with politics.
As far as taxes changing?
Do you think if that starts changing, and then do people still come to Florida?
I don't think that's going to change.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I think Florida's going to remain one of the free states in the union.
Good.
So, that's a big conversation every single year about taxes and stuff like that. But I don't see us ever implementing any type of, income-based tax at the state level.
Right. All right. Well, that's good then. Well, everyone's going to keep moving here then because of the weather alone.
So we got great weather. We got. I believe Florida is the number one state in the United States for small business, for actual small business starts. Wow. So we're kind of the haven to actually get to the American dream,
Let's talk about that really quick, because I think because of social media, I think that everyone thinks that, or they have a little bit more courage now to open up a business versus they would never do before, because they're seeing people that they went to high school with or college with, and they're like, well, if that guy can do it, and it's all over social media.
Well, you did a video maybe a year ago where you and your friend Jordan Lung went ahead and shot that video in the jet, right?
Airport.
So one of those things.
That was literally a year ago this month.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just basically saying, not everything you see online is as it actually seems, right?
Correct.
So when we see a lot of our friends and a lot of, people that you did go to high school with starting up these businesses, and it seems great online, I really wish we could kind of caution some people, give you a little bit of my backstory, right? I technically opened Holmes Drafting Services in 2016. I operated Holmes Drafting Services while I still had a full-time job until August of 2018.
Yeah.
So it took me almost that entire 2 years right there to build a business that was viable enough for me to be able to go ahead and leave my full-time job.
Right.
I don't feel like that is the message that's getting out to a lot of these people.
They just bail.
You just bail a job and go ahead and try to hop into something new. You don't understand how many months you're not going to eat.
That's once again, it's a realistic expectation, and no offense to Mr. Gary Vaynerchuk, but if you watch anything, he's like, go, jump, easy pumpkin. You need income.
He's got the right energy,
right? But, for sure.
Like I feel like for the first probably 3 years, I don't think I took a paycheck from the company.
Yeah,
that was just because all the money that you do end up making has to go back to grow the business. Yeah. Otherwise, there's a big difference between starting a business and creating a business and just creating yourself a job.
I know people that have business for 20 years. And they go, I own a business. No, you made a job for yourself.
I hate
They're still swinging a hammer, bro.
If you're the contractor with the tool belt on, still swinging the hammer, maybe that's the part of the business that you're good at, and more power to you at that point. But if you're to the point where you can't trust your staff to get the job done, you're not really an operator.
This was the conversation that I got yelled at for baby boomers. Because I said specifically, I work with quite a lot of baby boomers, and they're the ones that are the most reluctant to give up control. True story. where Gen Xers are more adaptive and say, okay, show me why, and then I will. Millennials just want help.
Right.
Like, help. They're
Somebody
throwing
pay
white
attention to
flags
me.
up, right? And then Gen Z, forget about it. We're just lost, you know. But the thing with Gen Zs, and I'll backtrack to the baby boomers, the Gen Zers are fantastic. Ooh, excuse me. Whoops. On this, and those are the ones that we have to worry about with the public speaking aspect, because you have the Gen Xers, the baby boomers that are still, ooh, I don't want to put myself on video, when the Gen Zers grew up with this in their face, right? And that's why they're so fluid and smooth on video, and they're the ones that are going to be able to market their business really easy.
Exactly.
Where the Gen Xers and the baby boomers don't. And so anyway, back to the baby boomers. So they're the ones that the most don't want to give up control. And I said, so I'm in their space. I said I was pulling out drawers, quote unquote drawers. So I'm looking through drawers and I'm finding the mess in the drawers. And I'm like, well, these are the things that you need to fix. And the most common response, Nick, is, well, that's the way we've always done it. That's why you're still swinging a hammer, bro. That's why you're still doing all the paperwork.
Listen, I mean, the way we've always done it has always been one of the worst phrases for me, because that being stagnant like that is literally how you die.
Yeah,
right?
it's true.
Like, you stay alive by keep on moving, change with the economy, change with the new, marketing types. Can you imagine if you had started a company and Yellow Pages was the way to go back in the day, right? Everyone was getting Yellow Pages in their house and actually using that.
Yep.
If you never changed your marketing strategy from that point on,
gone.
You can only go so far word of mouth.
What about, no names, but what about the companies that have been so established that they felt they no longer had to market at all and then became irrelevant? That's even scarier, because you're all of a sudden you're not getting business, or why aren't people calling me? Well, you don't exist online.
Your customer base changed.
Yep, they're gone.
That's it.
They're gone. They're dead.
You never taught the new industry, or the new generations coming up, who are now the people actually needing your services. It's you can't ever get too comfortable with where you're at.
Yep.
And for me, constantly trying to push and change to the next thing, I know it's incredibly irritating for all of our staff, because I change my mind every 10 minutes, But it's one of those things where I feel like I'm propelling us forward constantly.
No, you have. You know what? You received a few compliments during the ribbon cutting when I was here, and quite a few ladies, and I think Nick's a ladies man.
Oh yeah.
and actually, and men as well. They're like, really, you have a great mind. You have a great business mind. Yeah, and you do. I don't jive well with a lot of people when it comes to talking about business and ideas, and the guy's always calling me with this idea or that idea. And sometimes we'll say, and I vice versa, I do the same thing with him. Like, what do you think of this? And he'll tell me if it's stupid, and I'll tell him if it's stupid, or I'll tell him if it's great. And usually it's great ones. But the problem is, as many great ideas as you have, there's only so much of Nick, and there's only so much of Regan, and there's only so much of you to go around. Yep. So you gotta kind of pull it in. Nick might call me tomorrow and say, hey, do you want to start building a space shuttle industry to go against Elon? That's what this guy will do.
I called you, maybe 3-4 weeks ago about a textile type business. And we talked about it for about 20 minutes. And about 20 minutes in, you're like, why are you doing this? He's like, you really want to get there with blankets? Just,
but you saw a void in something, or you saw an opportunity, and you're like, well, I can fill that opportunity. I'm like, we're building Barndos, and we got a lot going on. Yeah. You got a media company. Let's just concentrate on that. Right. It's the best, dude. Those are the fun conversations that we have, and it's funny because when I call Nick, if he doesn't answer the phone. Okay, I call him and I say, bro, I'm not calling you to talk about lunch and let's go shopping. I'm saying it's for an idea or money or whatever. Like, and those are that's what it is. It's always those kind of real conversations. It's never some, did you hear what this one said? Or did you hear what that, like, those aren't conversations you want to have. And that's why also I'm going to really enjoy bringing in all these new people and meeting these people that I don't even know up here, because the things that we talk about, I want to talk about with them. And then that's the mindset and the mind shift that I think we need to incorporate into our new circle up here and just talk business. And that's it. If someone comes into our office and starts saying X, Y, and Z about Joe Blow, that's not a conversation we want to have ever. No. We don't care. What's the point?
Everyone's got their own thing. I mean, ignore the people that don't make you money.
Right. I hate to say it. You know when people will say we're shallow for saying that. Oh, so you can't have a conversation if we're not gonna make you money. And that's the truth. Like but guess what? We are at a stage of life where you can't have small-minded conversation. Like you just can't anymore. Like I'm 45. I want to retire in so much time. I can't waste a millisecond on irrelevant conversation or irrelevant people for that matter.
It is crazy how just in the last 3 years, how dependent I've become on my calendar. You know, really like, trying to maximize, okay, well, I've got this over in this location rather than burn 30 minutes of drive time.
Right.
Can I switch my calendar around to go ahead and try to stack as many of these together as I can?
Right.
Optimize that time and then go do what I need to do elsewhere. But, you know, I would love to go ahead and get to the point where we can have just a small business idea incubator, you know, throw out the ideas, build a small company around it, and then give it to somebody else to go ahead and
I want to offer, I think we should offer some kind of, and maybe through your charity, I don't know the dynamic of it, but like even some kind of small scholarship to a small business. Like we can help them. Let's show you how to market. Let's show you, you know what I mean? Like, let's bring you in and we'll show you everything that we did to market our business and get our name out there as quickly as we did. Look how many organic followers we have in less than a year. That's crazy.
I mean, I feel like scholarship or not, those are the phone calls that we get anyway.
True.
You know?
But I think it would be cool for Ape Shot to showcase the whole thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we help people no matter what, but that would be exhausting to film all that. But if we just pick one from like stay one to follow through like a year from now, imagine that, to see the difference, just giving those little nuggets of information.
That's the stuff that I enjoy, man. I mean, it doesn't even have to generate income for me. Just being able to see the development and see the growth of an idea is...
No, it's cool. It's something. It's that feel. It's what drives me.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's like, "Wasn't your family supposed to drive you?" Well, that's what you're supposed to do. Like, right, dude?
Right.
Like, how many hey, I took my kids to school. You're supposed to do that. You know, I waited in line for and carpool through. You're supposed to do that. So stop patting yourself on the back for being. You know, you didn't. Your kids didn't ask to come into this world, by the way. So when I'm having those real conversations and people launch an idea, that's the conversation we're going to have. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to that.
What we need to do too is we need to go ahead and start kind of setting up who we want to bring in and figure out how we want that to go. So I think and I'll throw your email out there as the person to kind of arrange all that kind of stuff. If we can go ahead and get everyone to email Josh at apeshotpro.com.
Why don't you do that right now? Like say that right now as a thing.
That's what I just did.
Oh shit, I felt like I was not on the same page. I thought you were just talking.
Okay.
Right? I thought we were just having a conversation. Hype that up a little bit and redo that. Hey, everyone.
Sorry. You know what? You're right. If you talk all monotone, nobody wants to pay attention to you.
I think you just heard that somewhere.
All right. So we definitely need to go ahead and find our next guest on the podcast. That's going to be a big deal. We want to go ahead and get as many people lined up as possible.
Yep.
Ideally, I think we would need to do these at least once a week.
Absolutely. Know? I think we finish our Friday strong. Yeah. We finish our Friday strong. Maybe it's called Friday Strong. The Friday Strong podcast.
Friday finishers.
Friday finish on Friday. FF. I could see it now. Maybe not. I don't know. Go ahead. So we need people. We want.
Probably meant something totally
different. I know.
You know?
I'm just gonna. Some guy in California. I got some gang sign. I'm screwed. But so we need people. We want have interesting conversation, authentic conversation. Let me ask you a question. How do we set this up? Because I kind of like the Muffy chairs. Do we do like the table and then maybe a circle? Could we do that?
What I think I'd like to do is go ahead and see if I can get a love seat like this.
Hey now, love seat. Oh my bad. So love seat and then this.
We could do a typical late night host setup where we have a single chair, a dual chair, whatever you want to set up as far as additional seating like that, or we bring back the tables. I mean, whatever.
I do
works.
like this though for the two. This is cool. This is a cool setup.
I think it's a lot less formal than sitting at a table staring at each other.
What if we work up to the Tonight Show type stage? Huh? And we could do like a Jimmy Fallon skit. Everybody's talking about my tight pants.
Yeah.
Do you know the tight pants skit?
Oh, I know the tight pants skit.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm in the dark here. Jeez.
Speaking of Jimmy Fallon, right? So I've been watching Band of Brothers again. I watch it like once a year thing. I forgot he's actually in it. He makes a cameo.
Jimmy Fallon's in it?
Yeah, he drives a Jeep to resupply ammunition, and he pops up, and he's in it for like maybe 30 seconds or something.
That's
like
funny.
That. I'm like, bro,
that's funny. That's funny. Jimmy Fallon.
This was made in like 2006, 2008, so it was like one of his.
That's when he was trying to get into acting.
Yeah.
Huh.
And then they keep busting his chops. They go, remember when you try to be an actor? Like they do it all the time. They make all the actor make fun of him. That's funny. Anyway.
Not as easy as it seems.
I don't know where we were. Oh, that would be cool if we can get to that level. Could you imagine that?
Yeah.
Like our own private, personal, local night show?
There's all kinds of stuff that we can get to. It's just trying to figure out how to set this up to where it's versatile enough to be able to be changed out quickly too is kind of a big deal. We're not working with a ton of space here.
No.
I mean, overall, I think we're really dealing
10 by 10
with
room.
we're about 250 square feet total in the space, but
the additional room back there,
half of that's being used for our entire media company.
Yep.
Staff currently.
But this is the beginning of what it's going to be cool because we're going to remember how this was in the beginning, and then a year from now, what it's going to look like and what we're going to do.
You brought up Gary Vaynerchuk earlier, but that's his whole mantra. There is document over create, right? So being able to have all this in video and be able to go ahead and see where this all started, we're going to be able to tell the story over the next, however long we end up running with this.
Eventually, he will have just as many wrinkles as I do, but not now. And
I'll never have as many as you do.
Can't win. It doesn't matter where I go. Doesn't matter where I go. This is my thing. I just get hit now. I'm looking for do we have a Botox individual that could come on the show?
I kind of say too, just quick shout out. Before we get into the shout outs and all that stuff, if you want to be on the podcast, go ahead and reach out to Josh. Mm-hmm. It's Josh at apeshotpro.com. Okay. That's what we need to go ahead and reach out to. Send anything. Just say, hey, I'm interested. This is the type of business I have. This is where we're located.
There you go.
We want to go ahead and start bringing on as many people as possible.
We're gonna hold you accountable, Josh. There's gonna be a lot of people reaching out to you. I'm just saying, there's gonna be a lot of people.
Yeah. Email is flooded tomorrow.
If you get the video out today, that would be great. This might be the only video we can get out today. We need it though. The whole objective is to meet with new people and bring in new people.
It's just growing our circles, man.
Do you realize, like my one buddy Wade with two college brothers, like he's got people all over the country on his podcast, which is crazy. And then I also want to be able to do that where we could just bring on someone remote.
You know what? You just said Wade. I totally forgot. He called me while I was in Colorado, and I never got back to him like I said I would. So I will have to call you today, Wade. I know.
He's busy.
But
I think that he wants you on his podcast too. I know we talked about that as well.
Cool.
But that's what I'm saying. Like he does the virtual one, which I think is fantastic. So if we can figure this out, we can run live, right? Run live off these cameras and then.
Sure.
We should be able to, whatever, we'll figure it out. I'm sure it's just a switchboard. Yeah, because it's the same thing we do with Tanner. He's got a separate camera that runs to a switchboard and that runs live.
Really?
Yep. It's a little, yes, I'll get you the info.
I would love to go and see Tanner's setup.
I'm telling you, it wasn't that expensive, and Carol ordered all of it.
Yeah.
So it's cameras that go to a switchboard and it runs live.
Cool.
Yeah. And at first we had those little Logitech crappy cameras. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that didn't work out so much. This is way better. This is the Rogan look. Huh. We're gonna have to get a sign. We got to figure out a name.
I'm pretty sure that's why we actually bought these, right?
Oh, everything here is based off the Rogan.
Really? Yeah. We're coming for you, Rogan. Don't say that. He'll UCF punch me. Rogan? Yeah. I'm a big guy, but Rogan knocked me out. He's like, I took Alpha Brain today. Boom.
You ever tried that?
No.
No?
I am the Alpha Brain, buddy. I don't need Alpha Brain. You like that?
Okay.
That was a little arrogant.
Okay.
You're like, I told you it was that guy. No, I really never did, but I will tell you, Keen told me that he's like, you need to take it. He's like, I swear, it's like launches you. I'm like, is it just caffeine? Because that just launches me into a mind.
Mushrooms.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
I didn't even know. I didn't even look it up yet.
Yeah, no, it's mushrooms.
In a pill
Yeah.
form? Okay. I'm ordering
And
it.
you start looking at like most of those nootropics that are out there, it's all mushroom based.
Dude, all I hear is nootropics now. That's all I hear. Are you on nootropics? Are you on this? Are you on that?
Yeah.
Wow.
We've got a client that we just signed today who owns a supplement business.
Ask if they have nootropics.
Down in
Do you want to
South
trade out
Tampa.
a Barndo for nootropics?
It's gonna be a lot of nootropics.
We'll have our own factory. We'll rebrand them as Contractor Nootropics, which really enlighten you, and then it teaches everyone how to build a Barndo. We'll sell it for triple the amount.
Insta-sued. Our lawyers love us.
You're a lawyer. You keep your lawyer in business. His lawyer bought out. No, we're not going to put this out there. I'm joking. Nick's lawyer bought a Lamborghini this year off of Nick's income. Oh.
There's a lot of stuff that goes into business people don't realize.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah, this isn't going out.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap it up because that was good. There's a lot of content here.
A lot of content, yeah. So the other thing that we want to go ahead and really reach out to is we need guests, right? So we want to go ahead and try to focus on individuals that are in this area, not necessarily directly in Brooksville, but you know, if you're in Florida, if you're in Central Florida, we want to go ahead and talk to you. We need just about any type of business that, I don't want to really say it like that, but we need to go ahead and get people to reach out to us that want to be on the show and have something interesting that they want to talk about and explain their business. You know,
well, people, I mean, like you said, though, I think it should be people in the trade base, but not just in the trade base. I think I wouldn't mind talking to an esthetician. I wouldn't mind talking to a salon owner because at the end of the day, they're all small business owners, and that's our goal here, right?
I'd really focus more on the actual stories about how the business got to where it's
how they
at.
got there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then, you know, it's going to be great to go ahead and talk to a framer and a window installer and a plumber. And like, I think over time, that's fine. But how many plumbers can you talk to before you start realizing that it's all relatively the same story?
Yeah.
I could be completely naive. If you've got a cool story near your plumber, reach out to us.
Yeah.
But
no. I mean, honestly, to defend you though, because you're right. Like it's okay. Well, a lot of them is I worked for a plumber. I saw it. I was capable of doing it. I got into it. But then there's stories out there like, you know what, my father passed away. I had to take over his business. So there's so many different stories for so many different people. You never know.
Who do we talk to that I thought actually had a pretty cool story about how it was a plumbing and AC company? It was Blankenship.
Chris Blankenship?
Yep.
Yeah.
That was actually kind of a cool story about how that whole organization came to be, and like that's the kind of stuff that I think people find a lot of interest in.
She would definitely come on.
Yeah.
She would
talk
and
stuff
they
like that.
sold the business to a conglomerate.
Did they really?
They're just operators now.
Well, congratulations.
Big-
That's a
Big deal, buddy.
man. That is a huge deal.
Big deal. But I will tell you, and then there's a lot of those big conglomerates are coming in and buying up, the smaller companies. That's a big small company.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're operators, and they were bought out because they had they built up a great name.
Yeah.
The same thing happened to Kilty. They were offered and they turned it down.
Really?
Yeah, and they turned it down. I mean, Kilty could have sold that company over and over. Yeah. Since then, I will tell you really quickly, and I know this is a long wrap up, but whatever. I think a lot of people, we talked about it yesterday briefly when we were recording those 100 videos. A lot of people are so in love with their business and they fall in love with their brand. And I tell people all the time, have a romance with it. Like take it to dinner, right? Massage it, love it, give it flowers, but don't fall in love with it because one day you want to sell it. Like that is the ultimate goal, I think.
It's all about the exit.
100%. I never thought about that until I was in my 40s. You just think you're going to work forever. Well, you're smarter than me, Nick. Okay, so you were thinking about it earlier
No,
in life.
but this is the mistake that I made with the drafting company.
Yeah.
I named it Holmes Drafting Services.
Yeah, but I think that would last forever, buddy. Hello, Sears and Roebuck, Macy's.
Right.
They're all named after their family, buddy. So Holmes can go on forever, no matter what. So don't discount that. I just put you at Sears and Roebuck and Macy's level immediately.
Well, don't tell that to
Walmart,
Roebuck.
Sam Walton.
I mean, Roebuck's out, but
Good point. Roebuck got the shaft. Poor guy.
But yeah, so regardless, our point is we want to go ahead and talk to as many people as possible. Reach out to Josh at apeshotpro.com. He's going to handle all the influx of the people that want to do this. He's got our schedules to when we can actually go ahead and what podcasts we can fit in, what we're actually shooting. So that's a great place to start. But there's so many cool people that have just cool stories, you know.
And I can't wait to hear from all of them. In our new studio that's going to be growing, with our business that's going to be growing, and our friends that are going to be growing, and our circle is going to be growing. So it was a good podcast. There was going to be we put out so much content today. We don't even know if we're going to be able to roll it all into one podcast. It might be multiple, but that's the goal here. We're going to keep putting this out. We're going to be putting information out. We're going to be putting nuggets of information out and things just to help you grow. So remember, yes, we're a contracting company. Yes, we're a drafting company. Yes, we actually do media and marketing as well. But at the end of the day, we truly want to help you grow. And people think that's so unorthodox that we're a business that just wants to help other businesses. Well, guess what? Even if you're in contracting, come on. Come on the show, and we want to help you out.
I just did a piece of footage that I'll probably never see the light of day. Did a presentation at a Kiwanis club. What was it, last week or the week before? But, you know, while I was in there, I was saying the thing that people don't realize is that above all, you're a marketing company. So whether you're pushing for your individual self, you're a marketing company, marketing yourself. Whether you're an employee in a company, you're still marketing that company. Everyone is marketers.
Company first.
We all need to go ahead and kind of band together and see what the best options for that are, because everybody's got a story to tell.
You got it. You heard it from Nick. We'll see you soon on the next podcast.